Hi folks, it's time for another episode of Random Rush where I listen to Rush Limbaugh for 60 seconds and then refute him in 90 seconds. He's no Ken Pittman, but this should be fun.
Committee member Russ Feingold said it appears that members of the committee or their staff were not in any way involved in the release of the document. It appears to come from the executive branch itself. I think it's unbelievable. So the Senate Intelligence Committee is looking into this behind closed doors. They get all this information, but it's been released outside the bounds of the Intelligence Committee. The CIA is considered the executive branch. Now, is this story getting more coverage than Obama kneecapping the CEOs at the White House? Remember when he brought them in there and said, I'm the only one standing between you and the pitchforks? Is this story getting more play than the Chrysler-secured creditors having their Fifth Amendment rights trampled on? Is this story getting more play than the corruption associated with TARP money? If so, if this story is getting more play in the drive-by media.
Okay. So, Rush, I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about here. He's obviously talking about some documents, some memos that show that torture didn't work. And, you know, one of Rush's tricks when he realizes he doesn't have any of the facts on his side, maybe starting to realize that it doesn't do too well for him and the Republican Party to be the party of pro-torture, particularly these days. Rush then goes to not just the meta story, but the meta story, which of course is not just the release of the documents, but then the coverage of the release of the documents relative to the coverage of a bunch of other things that aren't necessarily in any way related. And of course, when he talks about how the coverage of the mainstream media, he knows his audience doesn't read the mainstream media, doesn't read anything or hear anything other than Rush himself. So what he's ultimately talking about is, do these stories get more coverage than the other stories that I've covered? And then he makes some type of conclusion that is somehow conspiracy-filled, based upon the coverage that he's projecting onto other outlets, which is in fact a reflection of his own coverage. Make any sense? No, but that's exactly what Rush does. He makes it so twisted, and he comes up with some lame conclusion at the end that proves that somehow torture is right, the media is wrong. Keep listening to me. I will tell you all you need to know. Bye.